Welcome to our first podcast.
Welcome to the MVP conversation for the NFL.
And on this podcast, we talk about football in general. Just today's
Dude,
our
I hate
first
this game.
episode. Today's our first project and episode. It's about the MVP conversation. So why don't you start us off with the QBs and name mention of the
I got
MVP?
this. So currently, we have 3 MVPs and 2 offensive players. We got Lamar Jackson, quarterback, Baltimore, world's most accurate running back. We have Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. I'm waiting for this fall off. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm not genuinely a big fan of Dak Prescott. Not that I'm an Eagles fan or anything, it's just I've never really liked the Cowboys. My mom's a huge fan. I don't know, something's never sat right with them because they've always been good.
Yeah. Well, see, my problem is that our third MVP candidate is my glorious quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Yeah, if you didn't know, he's a 49ers fan.
I'm a heavy 49ers fan. There's too many jerseys I have.
Me on
Those
the
are
other
your
hand,
3 quarterback candidates.
me on
Most
the other
passing
hand,
touchdowns.
I'm a Browns fan. As we all know, Browns QB situation is not the strongest right now.
Joe Flacco.
If we want to talk about other rewards, we got Joe Flacco in the running for possible comeback player of the year.
That's for a different episode. Anyways, we have our final 2 candidates, which is running back Christian McCaffrey out of San Francisco.
He is leading in
rusher. He's the triple crown, isn't he?
He is the triple crown, I believe.
He is the running back triple crown as Raheem Mostert, running back. Miami did not play against Buffalo, and they didn't get that final touchdown. Lost as I can see, but that's also a different episode. And our final
wide receiver Tyreek Hill out of Miami coming off a amazing season, leaving Kansas City. He came out of Kansas City because he just didn't get that bag he wanted.
He didn't get that bag.
No, he didn't.
They were seriously trying to rob him. So
no, they were trying to give him like $38 million. They were
trying to give him less than what
he's leading the league in receiving yards with his quarterback. His quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, is probably in the top 10 maybe for MVP, but he just passes for yards mostly.
He sucks.
Tua, he's one of the few left-handed quarterbacks, so he's not that bad. Is
Yeah, he is. And I think there's only 3 other players.
I think Michael Penix, Washington's quarterback that's coming into the draft, I think he's left-handed.
Yeah, well, he's also kind of broken after that defeat to Michigan.
Yeah, I see his draft stock definitely plummeting after that horrible loss.
Horrible for him. Anyways, we have 5 options. I want to go over my fan favorite, obviously, which is Brock Purdy.
You Brock Purdy over McCaffrey?
I would just want a Niner to win it. I'd rather McCaffrey win it all. I'd take Tyreek winning it. I don't want a quarterback. It's just historically a quarterback award. It just gets named a quarterback like every year. I have not seen one since I was since San Francisco last played the Super Bowl, which was 2013 when they lost 34-31 to Baltimore in the Blackout Bowl. Game. John Harbaugh cheated. I will forever believe he stole the playbook, but that's for a different day. Anyways, I think
Harbaugh's definitely a certain topic.
Not for that.
There's a stipulation. They did just say with Michigan winning against Washington, they say the other Harbaugh is going to lose. They say John's going to lose in the playoffs. And keep in mind, MVP quarterback favorite Lamar is the 1 seed by the AFC side of things.
Look, I'm just saying, Purdy had an electric year. Purdy is now the single season
check down specialist.
Shut up. He's the single season passing leader for 49ers.
He broke it by 3. He broke it by a bunch. It's not that the 49ers have never had a good QB.
We obviously had Steve Young, Jeff Garcia, Alex Smith, Joe
Yeah, I
Montana.
thought you were about to not mention Joe Montana.
No, I want to save him for last. Let's save the best for last.
Mm,
He's a mean machine. I understand the check down and all, but like, there's just no way he's made such deep passes. He dug it. But that game on Christmas was tough. That game on Christmas really, really
that was
You
a rough blow to his MVP stock.
Look, I just want to say this. Purdy is a great player. He's got a great mentality. But you cannot throw 4 picks in a game against the opposite team.
And that game is definitely the favorite in terms of betting and just statistically in terms of their positioning is the favorite Super Bowl matchup is Ravens and 49ers. And with us possibly getting a early look into that Super Bowl, that is a bad look into the 49ers.
Look, the real problem with that game was the collapse of the right side of the O-line. You have Trent Williams and Aaron Banks defending on the left, but that right side's completely undefended. I mean, you look at it consistently, it's Colt McKitts and Spencer Buford ever since, was it Lauren Thompson left?
Something like that.
No, Tomlinson. He left to go to the Jets, and he took all this talent with him. Nobody's been able to fill in that position. He originally filled in for left tackle All-Pro, my favorite tackle growing up. Joe Stanley, he retired after the 2019 season in which the 49ers decided to lose the Super Bowl again. Jimmy Garoppolo, am I right? But
Garoppolo's a favorite.
Purdy is going to do. That's the second year. This is the second year when he gets the first seed. He got the second seed in his first year. He is top 5 in passing, number 1 in QBR, passing touchdowns. He's a little lacking, but that's because he did not play the last game of the season due to luck in the first seed because the Eagles sucked and folded. But look,
the Eagles, totally off topic, but that Eagles final stretch.
That killed the entire playoff or MVP chance for Jalen Hurts.
That's we could talk about snubs, but we'll maybe get to that later. But like, if we go to the other 49er, McCaffrey's always been that guy, been regarded as like promising, especially when he was on Carolina. Everyone thought he was gonna be that guy, but he just kept being injured. And when he finally got traded to a well-organized team, compared to Carolina, he just flourished.
This is a team that needed a run game badly. I mean, you saw how they used.
You had Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sherman, and then at one point you had your wide receiver.
Left. We had rushing was what made Debo great. I mean, you don't walk away this season with 1,400. Yeah, I mean almost 1,700 total or 2,000 yards total, 1,700 actually, with 300 of that rushing. I mean, you can imagine if we still had him there, he'd be injured. He's already got injuries from the past couple seasons. But McCaffrey comes in San Francisco, not only leads San Francisco in rushing last year, leads it this year, leads the whole league this year. Most touchdowns.
Well, he had no competition last year. He still had no competition. Like, there's no one that's going to beat him out from the running back spot in San Francisco. He's got Elijah Mitchell as like his only competition. Not saying Elijah Mitchell's a bad player, but he's definitely not no Christian McCaffrey.
I saw what Mitchell did in 9 games in the 2021 season, but injuries ruined him. To be so honest.
He's really short. I'm totally off topic. He's very short.
He's comedically short, and it's not helping his case one bit. Debo is 6 foot. He's been installing McCaffrey, but McCaffrey is just he just knows how to run it. McCaffrey can run inside, outside. And the best thing is the fact that you put running back at slot. I think that's such an arrogant piece that you can put to San Francisco's offense that just changes the whole thing. Is when you have an additional wide receiver.
So yeah, it doesn't even help that McCaffrey is such a dual-way player. Like he literally had the triple. I don't know if it's called the Triple Crown for the touchdowns, but in that Rams game last year, we all saw him get that passing touchdown. Yeah, passing, rushing, and receiving.
And on top of that, I mean,
not saying they're gonna.
With his one,
not they're gonna help passing, but like maybe he can be like the next Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, I do want to say though that in 2019 when he was playing in Carolina, with last year Luke Kuechly, a struggling defense and a struggling offense, still managed to get 1K rushing, 1K receiving, with Case Keenum as his quarterback.
I'd say
You just don't do that. You just don't do that.
that's one of the biggest MVP snubs of all time.
That's one of the biggest offensive player of the year snubs too. Not
I'd
just
say that's something. If McCaffrey does not get
182 awards, I will.
if he does not get MVP, he's definitely getting offensive. His only other Tyreek doesn't get MVP either. His only competition for offensive player of the year is Tyreek.
Exactly. But speaking of Tyreek Hill, our third candidate, Tyreek Hill, needs to come in the conversation because he had a monster year. And if
Even with other competition at receiver, like Jalen Waddle, I'm not saying he's not the best, but he's definitely
he can be a serviceable one.
he can be a one on any other team, I believe.
He's been a one when Tyreek was injured.
And he
Tyreek
showed
missed
himself.
2 games. Tyreek missed 2 games
And
managed to.
still lead the league.
And that's impressive. The only other player which I do think is a snub, but I don't want to get into, is CeeDee Lamb, who is a wide receiver in
Fantasy
Dallas,
legend.
just fantasy legend. Nearly led the league. He's only down by 50. But Tyreek would have had that 2K medal if he was just not injured for 2 games.
I'd say, yeah, CeeDee's only 50 behind, but imagine if Tyreek didn't miss a single game and he was able to get the amount of yards he was getting every other game in those 2 games.
Yeah, it's just insane.
And, like,
especially
even after his injury, he definitely got less targets, I feel like.
he got less targets.
Even though in that Buffalo game, Tua was throwing the ball quite a lot.
Tua was struggling, and that's why he's not in this conversation. But someone else who's in the conversation who struggles, I want to say through the air more, but on the ground it's just so impressive. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore's quarterback. He's already won it once in the 2019 season, magical season for him.
Yeah, wonderful. I feel like really for him to be the number one opportunity for MVP, I feel like he came right out of the woodworks out of nowhere. Like I feel like in the first half of the season, I feel like I heard no talking about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
I feel like
at all.
after the loss of Mark Andrews was when he started coming into that conversation. Mark Andrews has a high ankle sprain, which will most likely sideline him for the rest of the season if he's not already out for the rest of the season. And as soon as he went down, Lamar was just more on the ground. Lamar was reserving his body. He ran so much last year. He got injured, missed playoffs. They lost in the wild card to Cincinnati on that spectacular fumble recovery.
He wasn't even playing that game. That was all Tyler Huntley.
That was Tyler Huntley.
And that's when was it Trey Hendrickson on the Bengals? Or was it Sam Hubbard?
No, it was Trey. It was Trey because I remember because I saw him on the sideline with the face mask.
Yeah, the face mask. That game. I get that he's a good player, but that game definitely made Trey Hendrickson.
That made him his name known for sure.
For a good reason.
Lamar Jackson is the bread and butter of Baltimore. I mean, he makes the thing.
No, Baltimore would be nothing without him.
Look, I'm saying
like their wide receiver core, they got Zay Flowers,
which is a promising rookie.
Devin Duvernay just like today just got pulled off IR. They just opened the practice window for him, but who knows if he's ever gonna come back.
And Beckham's out of his prime. He hasn't been in his prime since he was on Cleveland.
Reaching up in age.
I mean, he came just off an ACL tear in the Super Bowl with LA, and I mean, you can't say he's in his prime. That injury ruined him. But I think that the duality of Lamar Jackson is what makes him powerful. I mean, you can cover the field all you want, which is something I saw in the San Francisco game. San Francisco has not faced a really running quarterback as on top of Kyler Murray being sidelined for most of the year. The 49ers did proceed to smack the Cardinals when Kyler Murray was back.
Gosh.
That game was bad.
Cardinals are just
3 touchdowns. They're not what they used to be in 2021.
That 2021 team was just magical.
And then they got murdered by the Rams.
I was so happy to see that team. Like, I remember seeing that NFC West bout go back and forth of, like, Rams and Cardinals. I thought it was actually amazing. And then we finally see that those teams line up in the playoffs, and then the Rams just slap around the Cardinals.
no resistance.
And then,
But
before you know it, the Rams go on to win the Super Bowl, right?
Super Bowl. And that's because Jimmy Garoppolo just couldn't complete a pass, and Jaquiski dropped a.
And that's why Jimmy Garoppolo got replaced by Brock Purdy. I mean, I don't really think that was the 49ers' plan, was replacing with Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy was kind of just a second thought
Just a
kind of thing.
formality.
Yeah.
Just kind of there to make sure we have somebody in the team, but Brock came out.
Because, what was the depth chart that 22 season? It was Garoppolo. Who was behind Garoppolo?
Garoppolo, Lance, and
it was Lance. Lance
2021.
was still on the team.
Yep.
Lance was supposed to start the season, and then Lance got
started,
injured.
lost to Chicago, and because he did take the snap against Seattle, he has a win against Seattle. But Jimmy Garoppolo finished that game. He broke his ankle, and there's no coming back from that. I mean, he's now in Dallas.
He's gotten no playtime. He's behind Cooper Rush in the depth chart, if I'm right. He's
behind Cooper Rush, which had that magical 5-1 time over there. But furthermore, on top of that, he just isn't himself. And but yeah, the duality of Lamar is what changed it. I think it's what the 49ers defense needs to see.
49ers will definitely have to prepare because Ravens are definitely 49ers' top competition in terms of winning that Super Bowl. So we mentioned Christian, Brock, Tyreek, McCaffrey, Lamar.
Time to go to Dallas. The number 3 behind Brock and Lamar. It is
Dak.
Dak Prescott.
Dak is definitely hated on as a quarterback.
Is he from Ole Miss or is he from Mississippi State?
I think Mississippi State.
I
feel like I've seen him with that M on his head.
I can't tell.
Let me fact check that. I want to say yes, he did play for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
I thought so. And Ole Miss sounds like it, but that's for A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf.
So a lot of good prospects come out of that south side of the college spectrum. Georgia, Alabama,
Dak
Ole Miss.
has had an amazing season. Whilst I hate to say it,
It's like Eagles and Cowboys fans really go back and forth. Like Jalen Hurts had an amazing season. Jalen Hurts was in the conversation last season in terms of MVP, and Dak was nowhere near because Dak threw 23 tutties and 15 interceptions.
He reduced it by a lot. And
who you know throws 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions and has a bad season this season? Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has a horrible season.
But he's turned around his career. I want to be so honest. He's top 5 for passing. He's the leading. Not only the leading, he's the first Cowboy quarterback to unanimously hold the passing record. I mean, you just don't do that.
That's it. But how rich the Cowboys' history is, that's a feat to come over.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I'm 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions.
Yeah, he leads the league in most stats, but Brock does too.
4,500 yards is definitely crazy, but that is nowhere near his 2019 season. That is really unfortunate that Lamar was just that good in 2019, because 2019 he threw for almost 5,000 yards on 30 touchdowns.
Was it 2019 or 2018? Because I know he got injured and just ruined it.
It was 2019, because then 2020 he came back, and his season got cut short with that season-ending ankle injury.
Which is awesome.
That's where Cooper Rush came in.
Dak's been hated on. Dak is a great player, but the turnovers, not this year, but in other years, have been bad.
I just think I don't really like anyone in the Cowboys because of just their fan base. It's the exact same place as the Eagles.
Well, with our time getting close, I want to say that Dak has an amazing year. Dak has been, ever since Week 5 when they got smacked by the Niners, I want to say he's fully turned it around.
Definitely.
He's cut the turnovers. He's cut the random plays. He's cut the terrible slides.
Dude, that slide in 2021 during the Nickelodeon game was I thought that was going to define his career for a while. And it almost did. It almost ate him
It
alive.
almost did. It almost did. And then they lost to him last year in the playoffs when he took a snap.
Oh,
So, I
that
mean-
center, that was rough.
That was bad. If you
That
didn't
game
know,
started
Zeke
off
got-
horrible, too.
Zeke got smacked by Zeke Algier, now the Titans middle linebacker. He got smoked. Like, no,
Utterly Utterly tragic end of the
Jimmy
Cowboys.
Ward, how the Texans
But, you know,
strong safety.
I don't ever agree with Cowboys fans always saying it's their year, because they say it every year. But I think this year is one of the few years might honestly believe them. Because with Dak having an amazing season and then CD even having a career high season. And then with
I
them
think the problem is the
dropping
run game.
Dalton Schultz, they dropped him and then picked up Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson's
That was
proven himself to
unlucky.
be a good.
That was
I think that is
lucky.
incredibly lucky. I didn't see Jake Ferguson becoming that guy or becoming a viable target for Dak. I thought dropping Dalton Schultz was a stupid idea, but I mean it kind of was because Dalton Schultz did eat really good in
Dalton Schultz
Houston.
started out this year, but he
Yeah.
is not in either of the conversations because I know who those are. But this year, I gotta
Titans
make
for a
that
different
pick.
day.
Titans are for Kittle. So
Yeah, buddy, okay.
I
What would you say your favorite is?
McCaffrey.
I'd
mean,
say I think
McCaffrey-
unanimously. I think McCaffrey is my pick.
Lamar had a slow first half of the season. Purdy threw 4 picks in a game. Dak threw 3 picks in a game. And Tyreek missed too many games. And I don't feel like he was impactful because whilst Tyreek is great, Jalen Waddle can fill in a spot. Not as great, but still can fill in that spot. That just proves how good not only Jalen Waddle is, but how impactful Tua can be as well. So I wanna fully put out McCaffrey. You do
Okay.
not come into a team that was 3-4 last year and go undefeated for 12 straight games, and then lose because your quarterback injured. But
Everyone got injured.
you gotta stay healthy. You gotta stay healthy. And
That's
I'm
a
not putting
good
that Purdy in. That was just unfortunate for the Niners.
Yeah, that wrist
I-
injury. The UCL, what was it?
And it was his UCL, so right over his, I think it's his elbow. Yeah, it's his elbow. Yeah, he had to get Tommy John surgery. He's fine now. I think that's a solid comeback too for Purdy. But I want to say Christian McCaffrey lead in touchdowns.
You turn around a team like that
yards.
is crazy.
And it's not even like you lead in yards like how Tyreek leads in receiving yards. You lead by a margin of over 200.
For real.
I mean, you just don't do that.
For real.
On top of that, you are a mean beast in the air. I mean, 500 and something yards. I think it was 564 total receiving yards. That's mean. That's just mean. I mean, I'm not expecting that out of a running back like that. I don't think anybody would expect that out of a running back, but I've taken up a lot of your speaking time. Who do you think the 2020?
I think I'm going to agree with you. I think it's going to be McCaffrey. I don't think he already was promising in Carolina, but to come into an already decent team as the 49ers were and come around and turn that team around and almost get them to the Super Bowl with how good you are, I don't think anyone does that. I don't think even top running backs like Derrick Henry or not Julio Jones, Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs could do that.
Definitely not Austin Eckler. My guy.
Touchdown goal line merchant.
Yeah, if we ever have another episode, I hope you guys know that is something we're diving into, the intense fall off of Austin Eckler.
James Conner is about to have the exact same thing too.
Or, yeah,
So
James Cook too.
I think that's where we're going to end it for today. I hope we get to see you for another episode. See you later.